Neighborhood Bucket Podcast. This is season 2. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us. If this is your first time, don't worry. We're going to take some time here to get acquainted, however you say. But wow, it's been a while, right? So the last time we were together, if you're a member of the podcast, is recapping the Warriors championship in 2022. And that feels like forever ago, doesn't it? This season in the NBA has been nothing anybody could have predicted. I know I couldn't have predicted it because I actually was planning on resuming this podcast in the beginning of the season. I recorded my whole first episode, my season previews. I had who I was going to pick for MVP, most improved, defensive player, coach of the year. I did all that. I gave my predictions. We went over the Vegas odds and where I thought the money should go. But after recording it, I listened back. The mic was cutting in and out, and it just kind of like deflated me, man. I did so much work preparing for that podcast and it didn't go as I wanted it. Then I ended up going viral on a basketball video a few days later, and I just decided, maybe podcasting isn't for me, but I think it actually is, because here I am. I'm back. I really have a passion for this. Talking basketball is something I like to do more than anything other than playing basketball. So that's why I'm going to keep doing this podcast, because, I just have so much I always want to say and I never get to say it. So if you listen to the last podcast, you guys know I was pretty much spot on all my predictions. I pretty much called every series other than Game 7 for the Mavs in that semi-conference finals. But we're going to try to do the same thing this year, although I don't see it. It's not as predictable. I'll just go that far. Even someone like me, can't see through the crystal ball on this year, man. This is the most wide open I've ever seen the Western Conference. Actually, in the Eastern Conference too, for that matter. You never know who it's going to be. Now, I think I know who it's going to be, and we'll get into that a little later in the show. But I kind of just wanted to reintroduce myself. My name's Mitchell Mule. I host a show, the Neighborhood Bucket Podcast, most commonly known for my TikTok account, my Instagram account, for making viral basketball videos. I go play pickup basketball. I record the games, and for each day I play, I make a little highlight reel from that day. I put a song behind it, typically something from the Bay Area here, 95% of the time. Put that to it, let it go out, and that's where I'm kind of most known for. But I have a little more in me. I'm a little more deeper than that. So kind of stretching my legs here in the podcast world and see how I do. So welcome. Please subscribe, tell your friends. If you're a Bay Area sports fan, this is the podcast for you. So, but it's been crazy, right? Since the last time we've talked, a lot has happened. If you do follow me, did an interview with KTVU, which is Fox, our local affiliate here in the Bay Area. I did an interview with them. Talking about what it's like being a TikTok star and all that. So that aired right after the Super Bowl. So that was like a dream come true, they're doing the Super Bowl celebration, announcing who wins, the Super Bowl MVP, and they're giving out the trophy. And then after all that's done airing, here's an interview with me, right? The whole Bay Area. So millions of TV screens on me. So that was like my coming out moment, at least locally, to people who aren't on social media and everything. So, that was the interview that gets me stopped in the street and people asked to take their picture with me. So that was really cool. Kinley, thank you very much for that opportunity. I really appreciate that. And a couple more times made the Sports Center. I had FIBA come out. If you don't know, FIBA is the International Basketball Association. They manage all the basketball at a global, So they came out. We did a nice interview with them on their show, Shots Fired. That went really well. And other than that, man, I'm just back here trying to figure out how to put into words what this Golden State Warriors season has been like. So ever since, you had that preseason, where, you know, you're getting ready to defend that championship, you know, put your repeat run going. And the first thing that really comes out of training camp is Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in the face. And what's going to happen? How did this video get out? What's going on? What was the cause of this? Why would he do that? And it's just really kind of taking its toll on the team, I think, just from like a spirituality level. Not spirituality, I'm not that kind of person, but like just from a vibe, you know, like that brothership that got tainted a little bit, I think, for a while in the beginning of the year. But what happens is, you know, you kind of get over that, but then other things start snowballing. So this year has been tough for the Warriors. As a Warriors fan watching, I'm sure the players and coaches and organization has all been kind of frustrated and kind of just exhausted the way this season has gone. But, you know, that's why they call it a championship hangover, right? You feel exhausted, and like, if there's ever been a championship hangover, I don't know, I would compare this to like the Hangover movies maybe. Like, these guys, you could just tell, like, they want to defend their championship, but at the same time, they're like, we know how long this journey is. We know how long it's going to take. Well, we're going to get there and we're going to be fine. And by the way things are looking now, we're in the 6th seed, ready to go up against the Sacramento Kings right up the highway up here, Highway 80. If we wanted to go to the road game, which I would feel like, you know, I don't want to get too much into the series. I'm going to do a series preview right before that series starts. I'm recording this right now, right the day after game 82. So that Monday morning following the regular season, we still have the play-ins to go. We're going to see who plays the 7 and 8 seeds. Are the Lakers going to make it? You know, are they going to be able to play Memphis now that Memphis doesn't have Steven Adams and Anthony Davis is rolling into form? That could be a quick upset, as much as I hate to say it. But I do think the Grizzlies are the better team there, and I don't think anybody's going to beat Denver in that first round. Even though if it was the Lakers, I could see AD and Joker having a pretty historic back and forth, but we'll get to that when our playoff preview comes around. This episode is going to be quick. It's going to be reintroducing myself. Just, hey, you guys, we're back. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to probably do a couple a week, trying to do at least a new podcast every 2 games, if not every game, depending how far the Warriors get into this. So, how are we looking, man? We had the worst road record we've had in the Steve Kerr era, minus that year where we didn't have anybody at all. It's been tough. We only won 10 games or 11 games total the whole season on the road. That no team has ever won a championship and only won 11 games on the road. But this Warriors team have won the last 4 of their 5 road games and are really turning into shape right when you need them to. Andrew Wiggins has returned from his leave of absence due to a family incident with it looks like his father. So it's nice to have him back. That starting 5 of Curry, Thompson, Wiggins, Looney, and Draymond was historically the greatest starting 5 in the history of the league, the way they started out this season. So that's going to be nice to see them get back on the court and really kind of, this is where defending the championship really happens. So they're back in it. And as wide open as this West is, I really feel like it's the Warriors to lose at this point. Denver had the best record. However, I always give 4 or 5 of Denver's wins every year due to being on the altitude. There's just schedule losses galore when you have to fly into altitude and try to play a basketball game on less than 8 hours of sleep. It's just, if anybody's ever tried to run in altitude, you'll know exactly what that's like. And you see it. At the second half of the second quarter, they go on their runs. In the second half of the fourth quarter, they go on their runs because you're just gassed. And in the playoffs, it's a little different. You get there a day early, you acclimate to it. You're on the same schedule as that home team, so just because you live there doesn't mean it's easier for you to acclimate to that weather. So it's a little more even playing ground. So Denver it's really just wide open, and that's why I think this you have to give the edge to the Warriors here. The continuity with the Phoenix Suns isn't there yet. Their defense is totally lacking, even though they still haven't lost a game that Kevin Durant has played in a Suns uniform. But that is a small sample size, 8 games. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, man, I'm really just glad to have you guys back here at the Neighborhood Bucket Podcast. We're going to be a little more interactive this year. You can notice we have the video going. Hello. We didn't do video last year, so these will be uploaded on my YouTube channel as well as on Apple Podcast. And I'll probably put clips up on YouTube and or TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all the above. So I want to welcome everybody back, Neighborhood Bucket Podcast. I'm really excited to have everybody back watching the show. Send me a DM. I'm at Mitchell Mule on Instagram. You have any questions? We're going to do mailbag episodes. We're going to do fantasy draft episodes here in the future. So we plan on having a lot of fun, a lot of guests coming in. I've had multiple people asking if they could join the podcast. So I'm going to do a little interviewing, see who's worthy coming on this Neighborhood Bucket Podcast with yours truly, Mitchell Mule. And until next time, I want to thank everybody for joining me. Follow, like, subscribe. I'm out, and you guys have a wonderful day, and let's go Dubs.